Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the law offices of Wright and Company, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Yes. So I think I'm going to try and finish this whole thing in one go. I was actually going to make... there is a Reddit post that I've looked at occasionally, which says the kind of timings of how long, and I was going to make like a little chart of that to know like if I'm on track to be able to finish this in one go, and I didn't because I forgot. And I could just do that now, but I won't. Let's just go. Let's see what happens. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Oh, forging evidence. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to do in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. Okay, I'm just gonna... Okay, I was thinking like it would be like... maybe they were all women or something. But no, there's no reason why Neil Marshall is particularly special other than Officer Marshall. Officer Jake Marshall. I just thought maybe that would be a case of like, it would make more sense for Emma to be the target. Then just save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. It's in the file, Phoenix. We read it yesterday. No, not yesterday. Earlier today. Kind of. Okay. Ask about the incident then. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of year too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Why? So he's managed to get into the prosecutor's office. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture? Okay, let's ask about that. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall, raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14? That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I'm starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. The fact that she didn't actually see the stabbing. It's the same as this case. It's the same. Someone says they see someone with a knife. After the crime. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumours about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true. Even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. I mean, he didn't falsify evidence. He used false evidence that he potentially, in good faith, thought was legitimate. That's not falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Right. Ooh, there's something puzzling, apparently. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? So she's... Wow. I mean, that explains why she's under the investigator thing rather than the prosecutor thing. So she changes her job, in light of this, she changes her job and gets a promotion up to boss? That's silly. That's very silly. I'd better have another talk with her. Okay, so let's have another talk with her then. Alana, Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence? I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? Because you're not criminals! Prosecutors. But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Okay, now. With the death penalty, this could be argued that you're committing murder. Maybe. Maybe, I don't know, negligent manslaughter, something like that. I don't know. Emma told me about you. About you? Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. Detective Lana Skye, let's follow the logic of the conversation. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! Connected to Gant. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filled. Emma really idolizes her big sister. That's not news. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 incident was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I shouldn't ask more about the investigation of theirs 2 years ago. Gant was up to something. I mean, I'm already suspicious of him, so maybe I'm just seeing everything through that lens. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. All drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said... Okay, we very much kind of argued that the murder happened at around 4:20. Not 5:15. 4:20 in the evidence room. This is... About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife? Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Flip, you're covering... You know it's Gant and you're covering for him. Yeah, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. The Dark investigation. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? I don't know why I said it like that. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. You shared an office? Okay. They even had the same office, okay. Led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. First one on the scene. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let the guards down and fled the room. From there he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was finding some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. That's not possible. So he's been stabbed in the back by someone else. Gant. Because that's not possible for Joe Dark to have done and ended in that position, really. I mean, right, so from what what the picture we had from Emma, so I assume is what she was describing. Dark was left-handed. This isn't possible with his hand lying there. His hand would have kind of drooped down to like around here somewhere. Maybe been caught on the arm, over the kind of shoulder. Wouldn't have landed there. If he's right-handed, it would have probably just flopped over the back. This splay of Joe Dark and this body with the knife sticking out, not possible. Right. Saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, victim, Emma, who'd passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. Picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. Clearly not. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes. His actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office. The site of the final SL9 murder. Right, okay. Do I go here? So, how do I get to this room? I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. I'm not here to see Gumshoe. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. Chief of Detectives seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back here later. Oh, I have to go round. Okay. Hello. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. Never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? Should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But, Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why did prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was this one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Okay, well, we'll talk to you now before we go and bother and try and look at the chief's office. Dark trial. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean, fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, all right. But, in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. Oh, so he's been stabbed and then this knife put in the wound. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? No, the autopsy report would then be forged evidence, Phoenix. It's evidence that's been forged. It's kind of simple. Right.